Hello, welcome. Welcome back to another week of the weekly 72 name class. I hope you had a great connection and celebration with Tu B'Av, the 15th day of the month of Leo last week. And we are continuing in this week. We still have that energy of love, but interestingly enough, we also have another influence or another attachment or correspondent the 72 name combination, which is Resh Yud Yud, and it's removing hatred. So here we are, two combinations that continuing a little bit for this week. I'll tell you shortly when it's changing. It's actually on this Wednesday. We connecting to Resh Yud Yud. So this week we have a split of Shin Aleph Hey, which talks about soulmate, connection with love, affinity with your soul, and then Resh Yud Yud, hatred or self-hatred or removing of self-hatred. It's completely the opposite, that represents separation, hating yourself, not seeing the good within you, versus when you're in love, you see the good within you and your partner and people in general. And it's really indicating what we may experience this week, like two extremes. Because we just spoke about manifestation and being in a high note and elevating ourselves to really amazing energy in order to manifest who we are. And what's happening? We have a split. We have two extremes. In one hand, and we all experience that, we have to really admit to ourselves, we all have experienced that. We have experienced sometimes that we are really high and happy and loving and so forth. And then what? We also experiencing a little bit of self-hatred or lack of confidence or self-esteem, trusting who we are and what we can bring to the table. So I just want to tell you, it's part of really the 4 phases. It's part of a process that we all going through and need to go through. The level of doubts that exist within ourselves, it's something that is required to really make a true decision making or making a true step towards manifestation, because we need to have that gap of questioning, are we in the right place, we're not in the right place, what is original intention, and so forth. And it's just to show us that we're in the right place, but not to let those feelings overtake us or control us. And it's really remind me the few stories in the Torah, in the Bible, the biblical stories. One of them is the story which I think I've mentioned a couple weeks ago, about the 12 tribes that were sent to the land of Israel by Moses to really check the land of Israel, if it's the appropriate place to take the whole nation to be there or to live there. Is the land ready? It's like everything is ready. So basically, it really was the test of a consciousness that they were put in, those 12 head of the tribes. And interesting enough is that in the Zohar, in the portion of Shlach Lecha, and you may go and look in the portion of Shlach Lecha from verse 63 to 68 included, it's given us some messages about how they really reacted as they traveled the land of Israel, and they came back with a consciousness of what we will take out of this, like what's the benefit for us as the leaders to go there. And I just want to say, it's 10 out of the 12 came with a bad report. And basically what it's mentioned, when they got back from that trip, giving this their opinion of the land of Israel, what it mentioned in the Zohar is like they got back to the lowest level of their soul before they elevated to be the head of the tribes. our lower level of our soul is sometimes sometimes we lie a little bit, sometimes we compete, sometimes we're jealous. Sometimes this is the lowest level of our soul. The highest level of our soul is one, is forgiven, is seeing the bigger picture, it's embracing. Okay, so when the head of the tribes came back from Israel, they got back to the level that represent the lowest level of their soul. Their consciousness was what we'll get out of it, consciousness type of a thing. They were not neutral, they were not yet in that space or that place that, oh, this is what the light wants, or this can be for good, doesn't matter what we see, it's all going to be good, everything is okay, everything good. Rather, they had a low consciousness of what we'll get out of it, what will be like a calculation of what will be with me, or of my position, of myself. Instead of saying, this is the situation, I'm capable, I'm capable to fit into all of this, I can do more with this, this can really support me in my process, or at least be in a place, a situation, or consciousness to allow the light to show me and lead me to where I'm supposed to be. And still they said to Moses, or even to themselves, not just, I don't know what I will get out of it, but up till now we worked so hard to do so much good, and see, now that we are back, everything is like going to collapse. Everything around us is going to be destroyed. It's like sometimes we say to ourselves, I invested so much in this relationship, and this is what is taking place, this is what's happening. So we're going back to that consciousness. And then we're going to be like everyone else, in a way, right? They really created like some sort of a manipulation with this consciousness. And the thing is like, we want to look at ourselves, because there's different points in this story that they had a thought process. And they said to themselves, we worked so hard, we led the people in the desert, and we're going through so much process in our own life, right? If we relate it to the story of our life, we're going through a process in our own life, we work so hard, but unconsciously, like in a conscious way, we force in ourselves to believe an illusionary reality. And we're turning it into, we're making out of that illusionary reality a reality that is true and it exists. So what we learn from this story related to residue to the that in one hand we can be in so much love, and the other hand like self-hatred, or see things in a different way, like a separation from the truth. It just showed us that there are ways that we apply in our life, that we really bribe in ourselves, and we creating a reality that may fit the way I think right now, that will make logic, that it will be logical for me. And even we are willing to share it with the rest of the world, because we're justifying it to our environment, to the people surrounding us, and we're making our surrounding even to buy this explanation, because we have the ability sometimes to create another point of view that can be convincing of others. And the only person that knows that this reality is not true is you. Which means it's like, sometimes we say like our thought process is like the only way I can be able to manifest my potential, or the only way that I can really, let's say I move to another country, is only when I'll have a job, when I have security, when I have money, when I have home. It's like we creating this in our mind. It's like, I will not go to this party unless I'm losing 10 pounds. I'm not going to go on vacation till I'll whatever. We giving like different excuses why not, and nothing changes. So we still with over 10 pounds, we still like having like those excuses. But the Zohar explained that this is our nature. When a person is saying something like, if I will do this, I'll do this, it's kind of like the evil inclination exists within our body. And the doubt about ourselves that create the lack of self-confidence, that create the insecurity, that lead to self-hatred, it's exists within ourselves. And it's not like the head of the tribe. It's not connected to the fact that they brought to the story whether the land was ready for the Israelite or not. It's the desire for the self alone that exists within each one of us, that is always within us. It's not just the reasons that I'm always given as an excuse is why I cannot do good. Those selfish reasons are always there. There are situations in our life where we decide, we make choices or decision, unconscious choices or decision, that a lot of the time those choices is kind of connecting to our existing system within ourselves that causing us to really make sure that decision, that unconscious decision, will come through, will manifest. But if we are not always deciding from a true intention, from the right intention, and we come in to making any form of decision in a form of intellectual, the Zohar is explaining that it's not that the logic in our life take us to make the right decision or the knowledge. There's always something else. There's always something else. And it says that the desire for the self alone, the evil inclination that is within each one of us, constantly is in that place that will show us why things will not be okay, why things within me are wrong, why things will not work out for us. And the Zohar is explaining that we must understand that the only thing that connecting us to the light of the Creator, it's not our mind, it's not through our intellectual thoughts. It's only when a person is opening his heart. When Moses tells the Israelite, the head of the tribe, when you go to the land, taste the fruit. It doesn't tell them to taste the fruit because I need your sophisticated analyzing the in a science form about the fruit answer. When Moses tells the head of the tribe to try the fruit or taste the fruit when you go to the land, is because I want you to experience, I want you to feel, I want you to taste it. Which means when we open it of our heart, we're able to connect with the truth and see the truth and the good in every situation. And this is the biggest power we're receiving this week, with a combination of still from last week influence of Shin Aleph Hey, and in this week Resh Yud Yud of removing hatred. Is like when we open in our heart, when we want to experience life, and remove the logic. Remove the logic, because our logic will say, oh, this cannot be, or this is illogical. If you don't have enough money, how can you do that? If you don't have enough knowledge, how will you be able to make things happen? The search for perfection, it's not the what will make us feel more confident. What we get in this week is like when we open our heart, when we desire to experience, the first state, the first thought, this is the real thing. This is the real thing. You know, when you get like the inspiration, the first thought about like an idea, something that you wanted to do, a business idea, it always says that the first thought is the right thought, because what have come after it, like a lot of calculations of yes or not, I'm capable, I'm not capable. This is one of the main things that even with through this story we're learning, that don't be afraid. We get in a message, don't be afraid to allow yourself to really experience and remove this logic, see beyond logic. Because when a person is looking at a situation and bribing himself or us, sometimes, you know, we don't like something, and or maybe we don't like someone, okay? And we bring him coffee every day. It's kind of like a bribe, right? It's like when someone has clients and he wants them to feel good, so he behaves in a certain way, but it's really like it's a sort of a bribe, unless you give them also a quality of product. We need to understand that when we helping someone and we give them, like, let's say, a candy to awaken the good within them, it's not a bribe. But if we give someone a candy in order to cheat them and to manipulate them, this is definitely a bribe. And this is how we fall, and this is our biggest punishment. Because the idea is like, we do not want to bribe ourselves with the wrong information and creating like this illusionary reality of things to justify why things are bad in my life, or why I cannot succeed, or why things are not going for me in the best way I want. So Resh Yud Yud is really to removing that hatred, and it's telling us to remove not just the hatred, the self-doubt, the separation we have between us to other people. Because we reached a point in our life, in this year, that we are receiving this time from the Creator, that we are able to really win freedom and our own redemption. But in order for this to succeed or to take place in our life, is like if we continuously allow the fear to control me, or behave in the way that we have behaved up till now, we will push away the freedom that we desire. Because we really didn't really embrace the lesson. We really don't understand why things happen in our life. We didn't really create any positive change within our life. So we are so fearful to make an action or to manifest. Therefore, we're coming up with excuses why we cannot manifest our life. And our life will not change. You know, meditation is the practice of focusing of our consciousness and becoming more aware. This is why we use meditation as one of the tools, and instead of just watching a candle that flickers in the wind, we learn in meditation to be still, right? And to direct and guide our energy. The sages knew that life had a way of distracting us from discover our inner world and our inner power that resides within each one of us. And meditations offer us sometimes the ability to quiet and to hear our inner voice, and ultimately to connect to the spark of this light that lies within in each one of us. We all possess treasure within. However, the outside world can create enough of a distraction of many of us to ignore it and even to be unaware of its existence. For all of us, really, spirituality is really all about the revelation of our own destiny and our own light within. And it's really to recognize the good in earth and the good in each one of us, that and the spark of this light that exists within each one of us. And this week, with the power of Resh Yud Yud, and still again the Shin Aleph Hey, we are asked by the universe to focus our attention on what is good and to turn away from any negativity. We are called to see the good and to act with goodness, and most importantly, to let go of all this noise that distracts us from revealing the light that is within. And it's very important that we understand that this week our highest chakra is opened, are open. All the chakras are opened, and we rise from the negativity that often tries to really push us down to the ground. And every time we read or hear the stories of the biblical stories, like I shared with you, and there are many stories that can really help us to see the battle between the forces, it's really, truly we read about ourselves. And in this week, we can develop a practice of revealing the diamond that is really buried internally in our hearts, and to reveal that. And even though we have sometimes feeling of fear or of jealousy or hatred, we can still able to see this week with Resh Yud Yud, so to see the qualities of that are within us, and to remove those hatred, fear, jealousy, and so forth from our life, because it doesn't serve us anymore. And we must let them go if we wish to experience joy and blessings that the universe wish to share with us. Okay, so this is very important message that we get in this week with Resh Yud Yud, and it's really for our own best interest to be willing to let go of negativity, and even if we feel justified in holding on to it, and because basically, as I shared earlier, we're bribing ourselves. Seriously, we're bribing ourselves. The gift of self-realization is ours this week, and with it comes lots of blessings. And the world is our mirror. The world is our mirror. So if we output and focus on love, we create world of love, and it's benefiting all of us, all humankind, and we all wish to be happy and experience peace and joy, right? So if we can ask the Creator this week for help, and to help us to choose, we want to choose the path of truth and not the illusionary world, not to bribe ourselves and making excuses. We want to choose the path of love, and I know we will be given the support and the strength to do so with Resh Yud Yud. So this week, because I mentioned meditation, and I know we have done meditation in the past, engage in this tool of meditation with Resh Yud Yud. Find a room that is quiet, where you feel safe. You can light a candle. You can light a candle and sit down beside it. And always make sure that you're uncrossing your arms and legs, and always take some inhalation and exhalation. Breathe in and breathe out. And you may also close your eyes as you do meditation and travel with it. Travel wherever it will take you. And if you desire to open your eyes to look at the letters, or you can visualize the letters when your eyes are closed, of Resh Yud Yud, and become more aware of your essence. And let's take an exercise. Close your eyes now and connect to, just like visualize a flame of a candle. And as you see the candle, it's moving, right? The way it's moving this is how love moves within each one of us. The way the candle, the flame is moving is to show you that your soul is so alive within you. And your soul is being awakened. And choose to focus on all the goodness that exists within you. And remember that the light is everywhere. And to connect with it, we need only to acknowledge it. Only to acknowledge it. When you see only the good, you will experience only good. Resh Yud Yud. Thank you for joining me this week and in this session. And thank you for the beautiful emails and messages I'm getting from you. I truly appreciate that. My email address is rachel.madar@kabbalah.com. If you wish to know more about your personal 72 name and how it's affecting you and how it corresponds with your life and can support you, you may contact me as well for a session of 72 name. Thank you very much.